Okay, people. So this is a little quickie in my sewing room. Ain't that interesting? Look at that one over there. You see that? Anyway, I've been in here kind of... See, I got OCD. You can tell. You can tell by the way things are kind of lined up. The only thing is my life becomes chaotic. Right, this is a very, very small sewing room. This is Uncle John's paperwork, people. It's still sitting on a freaking table, man. This is Andre's stuff from when I was fighting for Andre. I was like, how many years has that been, people? Anyway, I'm in my sewing room. It's like November 13th. Hold on a minute. Where can I put this? It is November 13th. 2018, it is the anniversary to the nonprofit. This is when it was registered with the registers of companies. Let's just see. Hold on. Here we go. Oh. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 2:30. Oh, I hate it when that happens, people. I'm so tired and I work so hard and I struggle with pain, but I don't take pain medications, right? Like the bottom of my feet is always painful, right? And just, I've got this ringing and the pressure in my head and the ringing in my ears. And, my eyes sometimes are getting all, whatever, right? Because of the glaucoma and just the whole 9 yards. So anyway, I'm in my sewing room. And as I was coming in, I'm actually looking for my headphones for my DJ equipment, right? I'm just wondering if maybe Marcane took them because I can't seem to find them. I had them up over there on the table. Or maybe I brought them in here and I threw them on the table and I just... Anyway, it's not a very big sewing room and I haven't really sewed for a very, very long time. And as you can see, what I just showed you, all this paperwork is still on my table. And so... Yeah, the nonprofit has been registered since 2001 with the registers of companies from November 13th of 2001. So this is an anniversary today. And I have to submit. I've already done it through paper. And I've only got till November 28th to do it. The Constitution in a PDF file, which honestly I don't know how to convert to. And the bylaws, and I have to upload it up to the registers of societies, new system that they have, even though they have it in hard copy. So I got to do that this week, which means I have to go into my other computer in my bedroom, which hasn't been turned on for over a year, and look for those files, and then save them on to a flash drive and then try and convert them over on a different program and then upload them. Otherwise, the foundation faces the possibility of dissolution. But at the end of the day, people, all the trust accounts, everything that I had set up from the very beginning of, like, when I registered a nonprofit back in 2001, we started off with HSBC Bank with 2 trust accounts. Eventually, it came up to like 21 separate bank statements that I used to get coming into the mail every month for years, right? And then some of them went into, deactivation, and because of that, they were closed and just never really bothered to reopen them because we can reopen them later as, memberships, as you get member dues, right? Because that's where the benefits come in, is through the members' dues. But because I don't promote membership and blah, 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 there is no member dues. And so therefore, there was no dire need to have those trust accounts. But the 12 remaining at HSBC Bank that are remaining today, they're on lockdown, people. Uncle John is still assigning board director to those trust accounts. Right, the original 3 signing board directors are still signed on with HSBC Bank, with Uncle John now passed away since January of this year. Or was it last year? It was this year. I think it was this year he died. I don't know. It was this year. this year. It was 3 years after they took him. Right? And, I don't know. Can't seem to contact Riley. I keep leaving messages for him to call, and he hasn't called me back. And then the other signing board director that was supposed to sign on, we just never got like the one time at Van City, Riley was sitting there, I was sitting there, we were waiting for this board director to show up, we were with the bank manager, everything was good to go. We had removed Uncle John through, a little, general meeting in terms of voting him off because, he had been medically kidnapped and he was no longer able to be a board director, to the foundation, that type of thing, in a signing aspect. And, that board director never showed up, never put his John Henry down. And because of that, Van City's on fucking lockdown. Because I can't locate Riley. And Uncle John's not around anymore. And, I'm depressed, people. I'm depressed because, I do all this paperwork. I dot the I's, I cross the T's, I do the T2 forms, I get caught up with things, or, I pay for the website, I do whatever, right? And, I don't know. So, besides that point, I'm in my sewing room right now, looking around. Obviously I'm not going to be sewing anytime soon. I'm picking in this room, picking through it, right? Wiping things down. I'm always wiping things. Tisha says, why do you go into some place and start pulling everything out, scattered all around? Well, 2 reasons. One, I'm rearranging stuff, packing it better in terms of, storing it however I'd like to use it, depending on where you put it, right, and what it is. And while you do it, you wipe things down. You have to get into the corners and pull things out and wipe things down to get rid of the spider webs and all that crap. This house is old. It has a lot of spiders. So I'm always wiping. And then dust. Dust is a big one, right? Always wiping. I'll get up there and I wipe. I take a rag and I wipe, I'm wiping all the time, wiping things. Doesn't matter what corner in this house, could be in the yard. If I'm not wiping in the house, I'm doing stuff out in the yard too, pulling weeds, picking up freaking crud, whatever it is, right? So anyway, why did I even bother turning this on? Well, I just want people to see that I haven't quite got to the position of sewing yet. Right? I'm still sorting out this room because it kind of ended up being an overflow for a bunch of shit. But I bought this beautiful fleece. Look at this. This is nice. It feels so nice. And I have other fleece downstairs that I bought when Andre was a baby. And we were supposed to sew him outfits. And, but that never happened, right? And, so between those fleece that I have downstairs, this one and a few other ones that I have kicking around, and I have tons of ribbon. Like the ribbon is the stuff that goes around these things, right? I have tons of ribbon in different colors because I used to sew all the time, right? So I still have that. I want to make some clothes for Amari and for Andre, and then make a few pairs of pants for myself because all mine are like getting holes in them. Tisha says, Mom, you have a hole in your butt, like a hole there in your pants at the bottom of your butt. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's because of, I've been wearing them for the last, 10, 15 years. Oftentimes I'm working in the yard, right? And I guess washing, and they just get old. So, I'm sitting here now. This here, can you see this? It's funny how things work. I do believe there is a God, somebody that listens to you every now and then. Because one night I was sitting in here so frustrated with this mess, because it's been like this for a while. It's not the ideal sewing room, but, it's something that we can touch base on in a month from now just to see how the progress goes, right? Because I really do want to get back into it. I want to make Amari a little eye patch. So I'm in here trying to, put things away. And the reason I turned on the video is because I wanted to feature this. Isn't this beautiful? It's beautiful. Hey? I was sitting in here and I'm like, oh geez, you know, there's nowhere to put anything. Blah, 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 blah. I need another something for here. This is what I'm thinking, people. This was before this showed up. Right? And I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to have something about that height that would just fit nice in that corner so that I can put, you know, stuff like this on it. Because I like my jars. Alright, I like jars. If you notice, a lot of jars. Right? This shelf right here droops, and I didn't have time to put another shelf, take off the back, put another straight shelf in there. That's after everything's organized and I have more of a normal life and I can take the time to fix that. So in the meantime, I just found it on the road, people. After I thought about, this is the point of this video, because I'm sitting here like, don't get frustrated, because God is listening to you, honest to God. Because if he wasn't listening to you at the time when you were thinking of this, you wouldn't have gotten it. So don't worry, everything will be fine, because this tells you everything will be fine if you just give it some time to work itself out, right? Do what you can in a day, and that's all you can do, right? Be grateful that you got a mess to complain about. It could be worse. You could have no mess and you'd have nothing, right? And then what would you complain about? Having nothing to complain about, right? You'd be complaining because you have nothing to complain about. So, when do people stop complaining? So anyway, I'm like, I need something for my jars. It just goes all the way through, right? And sure enough, like 2 days later, that's when I was picking all those apples with Andre down the road over there. Right? And we'd go every day looking for apples, and like 2 days after I thought about having something nice. I wasn't thinking as nice as that. That's beautiful, right? It's not perfect, but it's beautiful. And it was exactly what I needed. It was exactly what I wanted, about that height, with drawers, so that I could take things like this, right? And clear off my sewing room, because it's too small for a person like me, right? So I have to make do with what I have. So, I'll just show you. Alright. You see? There's the OCD. Do you see the OCD? That's it, right there. And then every now and then, I'll come along and I start wiping everything down. Right? You know what I mean? Have to. Gotta keep the dust off it. You don't want a dusty old sewing room. Right? Because I have OCD, I kind of have to have it looking like this before I can really get creative. So in a small space like this, it's very hard to get creative. But I can still make children's clothes and all that other stuff once I clear out this big mess. And that's why that thing was so important. Because little things like that eventually can go in there. But I like everything to be kind of like uniform. So I'm working on it. So that's what I'm going to do for the next couple of hours, I think. Yeah.